On Thursday afternoon, my secretary would draw out 2 names of tickets from the jar. Those 2 kids could then invite the 2 adults of their choice in the building out to lunch on Friday. And I mean, custodians got asked. It wasn't the person who necessarily gave them the postcard that got asked. I mean, I got out a few times, secretaries, coaches, teachers, any adult in the building could be invited to lunch, and those 2 teachers and those 2 adults went to that particular restaurant free of charge for a lunch. And if we get 4 to 6, you tell the restaurants it's a meal for 4 people once every 4 to 6 weeks. So it was a very easy way, didn't cost us anything, and got a lot of good PR with the kids, and the restaurants liked it too. Different ways to recognize students' birthdays. We always did some kind of an honor roll recognition that they got, like a giant chocolate chip cookie along with a certificate or a Rice Krispie bar or something, and that was a nice way of saying, hey, you know, you did good. Various assemblies. Perfect attendance. Kids that had perfect attendance for a quarter or for a semester, we had a little pizza party for them. End of the year stuff, a little bit bigger with some little prizes and things, but it made a difference to those kids who were there every day. And some of those kids who were there every day weren't necessarily your stellar students. Variety of Student of the Month programs that schools have in place. The cafeteria supervisors were having trouble getting kids to clean up. They were leaving messes, so they said, can we do something? We've got a little plan. I was like, sure, give it a try. And so they would give out tickets to take kids that were sitting and they noticed them cleaning up, and they did a little raffle at the end of the week for a little prize or something. And I mean, it doesn't take much. You know, a granola bar, a pencil, something simple. The kids go for it. And so it's be creative. Don't limit formal recognition to just academics or sports or music or clubs, things like that. Look at other ways you can recognize kids. Okay, before we go into staff, what are a few things that you guys are doing at your schools to recognize students?
In our school, we started positive phone calls. Most parents get a lot of negative phone calls, so we start calling parents for good reasons.
Good.
Well, academically or whatever. And most parents are shocked because they think we're calling for a negative reason.
That's a great way to do it. And you keep track, so you're trying to cover all the kids you've got over the course of a year, and that's great. Other things that schools have done here to recognize students positively.
We do a lunch with the principal monthly, and students are recommended by their teachers, and it's not a hard and fast like you recommend. I mean, it could be
somebody just needs to be recommended.
Somebody needs to be recommended, and so they come and we have lunch that's provided by a business or a partner, and sometimes we'll have someone that'll talk with the kids, and you know, it's a set little thing, and they have a question and answer, and so it's just a little 45-minute where they get to have a special lunch, and they like it.
Nice, nice. Yes.
We have a title book store, and that's our mascot for our school, titles. So the teachers are giving us a certain number of little tickets that say title books, and the kids have to earn them by different things, attendance, behavior, you know, academics, whatever, and they can earn so many. And every Wednesday we have a little store set up outside of the cafeteria, so they can go and buy certain things out of the book cart, different items, and you know, have a certain amount of title books to get each item, and they really love it. Okay. They try to stay with them.
Well, I was over a program called CMCD, and some of the things that those schools that were using the program did was called Being Good Corner, where some schools during the morning announcements, those kids that were caught being good, the teachers would send in the little certificate, and they would shuffle them out over the PA system. And I know when I was at Cohen, we were doing it, and it made a difference in the way kids were behaving. I would see kids pick up paper that would never pick up paper before. Then they would say, "That's called being good, right, Mr. Lee?"
None of the count.
Yeah, they want to hear their name. I saw kids helping teachers bring in equipment, supplies. So that was one thing they used. Shout out notes, the positive postcards that you were talking about. And at the school I'm at now, Coretta, we have Coretta Dollars, and we are partners with the Links. And the Links come around Christmas and have all these elaborate gifts. The kids can take their Coretta Dollars and buy these particular gifts either for a parent or for themselves. And it really makes a difference.
Good. Let me give you one more that I just thought of that I don't have on the list, and then we'll move on to some staff recognition things. And that is, every once in a while, I would get on the intercom the last 5 minutes of the day, or 5 minutes of a period, not of the day, and make an announcement that said, if there's any class in the school in which the teacher gave homework yesterday that was due today, and 100% of your students turned in your homework, please send a representative from that class down to the office. And I would usually do a cookies and milk party and have a couple packages of cookies and some milk and send it back to the class. And it was always random. It didn't happen every day. They never knew exactly when it was happening, but boy, the teachers loved it, and I started getting requests. I got this big homework assignment that's going to be due on such and such a period, on such and such a day. Do you think you could do an announcement at that particular time? but the kids listened, because, and it wasn't that big of a deal to manage, because I got to tell you, it rarely did you get very many classes that 100% of the kids had their homework turned in. They tried to snow me a few times, but I got pretty good at that. All right, very quickly, the big idea for staff recognition is it's got to be everybody. I know when I started at my middle school as an assistant principal, there was really a chasm between certified staff and classified staff. And we really worked to try and make it, we're all in this together. It doesn't matter what role you are playing in the school, we're all here together to help kids be successful, and it takes all of us to do it. So I'm just going to go to a few of these and talk about them. I'll put them up on a, put them up on a screen, and you've got them in your handouts. I was a big food person. The first day of school, there was always food. The morning after a evening activity, a parent open house or something like that, there was always food on the table. It's always an easy way. It wasn't anything major, but it just made a big difference in saying thank you. As a principal, I would put a first day of school treat on everybody's desk, a bottle of water and some treats, and just say thanks. Here's your kind of substance for the day. And some of these are going to sound like they're coming from the voice of a principal, and they are, but you can do it as a teacher also. And I was remembering back when I was an elementary teacher, the music teacher and I got together several times during a very difficult year that we were having at the school, and just decided we were going to be the secret buddies that we weren't going to tell anybody about. And so we plotted some things and would go in, so we'd meet sometimes late at night and go into the school and put things out for everybody. So the next morning when they came in, it was just there. And they never found out who we were. They almost found out once. They thought they were going to find out, because one time we made a big piece of poster board and drew a poster on it, just thanking everyone for all they'd done for kids and everything, and we cut it out into puzzle pieces. So they had to come down together to put their puzzle together. They thought they were going to put their names, but it wasn't there. But so even though some of these sound like they're coming from a principal, teachers can take this on, a committee can take this on, teams can take this kind of thing on as well. Just kind of goofy things that you can do that put into a survival kit that people might need. My computer teacher did this one. She took a photo of everyone and made sure we had a display at the beginning of, when we came in our entrance hall, with every teacher, every adult's picture on it in the building. The kids love to stand there and look at it, because especially new kids to the school and they don't know who all the people are, they could go and start putting people together with their faces and who they were. Do you start staff meetings with accentuate the positive? Tell me something that I need to know that's going on in the school, either that's happening in your class or in a colleague's class. And people were much more willing to share about what was going on in their colleagues' class than they were in theirs. And so it opened up as far as letting people know what was going on. I always kept a supply of kudos bars to just toss in a box with a note that said thanks and take them down. Had trouble getting people to come to staff meetings on time, so we had raffles, and they only got a ticket if they were there on time. Then we raffled at the very end. People started showing up. Silly awards, just fun stuff. I never did this, but I know one school that did. They had a life-size doll, and so I would give it to you for doing such and such, atta baby, way to go, at the staff meeting. At the next staff meeting, she was responsible for finding a staff member, and so it went. Some schools did a hats off, some did a spirit stick. One school had a tire that they passed on. It's something about the tireless energy, tire that's going on. And so the teacher would have this huge tire that would be sitting in their room for until the next staff meeting came along, and it had to be passed on. So, be creative. Rotate meetings. I did this a lot with department meetings. My staff got too large to house them in classrooms, but for departments, it happened in different meetings so everybody could see each other's classrooms. Perfect attendance awards. Our district gave a $50 gift certificate to the local mall to any teacher that had perfect attendance for a semester. And professional development and jury duty didn't count against them. But we actually saved money because it was cost less than the cost of a sub. So that worked out well. Holiday kind of stuff. And I know every school and every school district in every part of the country has like different traditions on things. Halloween was big at my school.